Hi everyone, Robert Peak here, the Spontaneous Dungeon Master. I want to talk about a technique that I found really effective and useful and fun to encourage people to roleplay and to improvise and to be in their characters and to encourage some dramatic tension. So one of the things I love to do, particularly in a campaign setting, is cliffhangers. If I can find a way to lead up to a cliffhanger, and so at this point my players spot it coming, right? They know, oh, there's going to be this dramatic moment. I'll bet you he's going to be wrapping up, and they'll bet you he's going to say, and that's it for tonight. So I got kind of known for that, and I realized that there's a whole other technique where you can kind of create mini cliffhangers throughout the session, and in doing so, also give your players very clear cues about sort of when they're on and when they're off. So I play a lot online, and for me, it's absolutely essential that I can see my players. I know a lot of people do play by post and Discord and other things where it's audio or audio plus the tabletop or whatever. I love sort of fantasy of the mind and then players in front of me that I can see on a screen, because I get so much information from from their faces and their body language, how they're doing, whether they're engaged, what they're up to. All of that is just comes across, and likewise for me to be able to be seen by them too when I'm making silly faces and stupid voices and doing all of that. So that said, being in a little box in a window on a video is kind of like being in a way on stage all the time for these players. And so one technique that's been really useful is often my players will split the party, particularly in places like cities where it's not quite so dangerous to do so. They know that I don't have a full party encounter necessarily planned, because partly they know in cities in particular I'm being particularly spontaneous. It's like, anything can happen. It needs to be a living place. So when they split up, very often what I've simply done is call it camera one, camera two, right? So these two are off over here doing something or whatever. It gets to an interesting or dramatic moment, and I go, okay, over to camera two, and what are you guys up to? And what it does is it signals very clearly, okay, you guys are on, you guys get to watch, but also think about, what's coming next, where we last cut off from you. And it creates this cinematic experience of kind of interweaving these two different storylines. So it's just been a really useful technique that I kind of just stumbled into. It also can be great to just use the kind of spotlight concept. It's like, okay, spotlight's on you. Like, what is your character up to? Okay, spotlight's on you. What is your character noticing or thinking about here, etc. So moving the camera around, moving the spotlight around, and in particular when they're actually physically separate, not discouraging that, not seeing that as a burden or something where you go, oh no, now I've got twice as much work to do, but letting it be okay to cut between characters, letting it be okay that some characters aren't really on stage right now, but are in the wings, thinking about when they come on and what their next scene will be. Let them also decide when they regroup, they get all back together, have them share information about what they discovered and so forth. Splitting the party can be a great thing, and it can be a great technique to use that kind of cinematic concept. Now we're focused on this, now we're focused on this, to make it really clear to players when they're on, when they're off, when they're actively participating, when they're more spectating. And so that's just been really useful. It's definitely helped to people to be more kind of spontaneous and present and in the moment in role playing. Maybe it'll help you too.